So, Will, that was a crazy party last night.
God, no. I can't believe me and you dressed up in those costumes and did that.
It was serious, and I'm sorry for the parts of me that touched you.
It was a lot of it. It was, yeah.
Hi guys, and welcome to another video where we talk about photography. This is a bit different today. We are indeed a screen. We wanted
That's
to talk.
us on the screen.
Yes.
Let's clarify this.
Oh yes, that's absolutely
That's
us.
what me and James do when we're not doing street photography.
Yes.
Or filming these videos.
Really insane time last night.
Yeah.
I lost. I don't know. I still don't know where my motor vehicle went.
James is missing 5 teeth, is it, after last night, too? There's 5 of his teeth are missing.
Yeah. I haven't lost that many teeth since that hockey match that we went to.
I'm missing an eyebrow, so it was a good night. It was a good night.
Yeah, but you'll grow it back. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So today we're the reason we're a screen is because we want to talk about a photographer named Whitten Sabbatini. Very interesting name. Seems very. Do you know of his descent?
I don't know anything about Whitten Sabbatini besides his work, actually, because I just found his work not long ago.
Okay.
Through another photography friend.
Yeah. And so, Whitten Sabbatini was recommended by a friend that we actually are thinking about getting on the next video. So that could be exciting.
Katie, come be on our video.
Yes, come be on our video, Katie.
Come be on the video, Katie.
She has lovely photography. Okay, so we picked Whitten We want to make more videos like this that kind of go the direction of showing off different photographers and their people that aren't necessarily the most famous photographers in the world, people that maybe no one even knows about. They have 6 followers on Instagram, right? But just people that compel us artistically. And we want to show off this particular photographer because he has a very interesting style, as you can tell. Stop with your weed. That's not a weed whacker. What is that?
Leaf blower.
Leaf blower. Stop
Leaf
blowing leaves
blowers.
for filming a video for the YouTubes. Jeez. I'm sorry. Okay. So he has a very interesting style, and we want to. I'm forgetting that we're actually I need to move things on the screen. I just want to show you some of his photos, and we're going to kind of talk about it a little bit. And hopefully the goal is that we will inspire you in your own photography. That's the goal, right, Will?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the goal.
I'm excited to have Will with me to cover this, these thought-provoking images. So the first thing you noticed about Whitten is that all of his photos are about 1 degree away from that bad snapshot in your family photo album. 1 degree away. But it is
a half a degree sometimes, too.
Seriously close. I'm sorry, I'm going to start looking at some stuff. I have to think and click at the same time. We're going to go through some of the... Actually, we're going to hop over to his Tumblr page first.
Yeah, I think that's going to work.
A little more experimental.
Those are the guys
stuff.
at last night that we beat in our wrestling match.
Right.
So there's our high five afterwards.
Yeah.
There's my girlfriend.
Okay. Cool. Just last night?
Yeah, just last night. Don't tell Sarah. Anyways.
That's right. So we were talking about just how interesting his work is because he doesn't rely on the normal kind of constructs that a lot of photographers that and I think Will, we both kind of tend to rely on, which is making sure the depth of field, is very shallow and, lighting. This looks like this was taken at noon. Just very kind of different stuff. But the first thing that I think I noticed, the second thing. The first thing I noticed was this sense of it's almost a snapshot, but the framing is absolutely stupid phenomenal and so interesting, and it draws you into the image in such a real way.
In an orthodox way too.
Yeah.
Because when you try to break down the image, it's still hard to apply the rules, and even as format, right? I mean, it's it looks close to 1 by 1.
Right.
So it's all those elements just,
very interesting, weird compositions and subjects. I think what I also notice is that the power behind a lot of these images is that they have this starkness and character to them. Just very, very unpolished, if you will. Kind of, these look a little more polished. I think he did these for the New York Times here.
Yeah.
So he does jobs, and and it's amazing. It's very interesting because he has such a very like polarizing almost kind of style to some of the stuff he shoots.
It's really, it's him.
That's nice.
But then I feel like it's amazing that he can, project his work so well and so consistently, because his work, is challenging, I think, for a lot of people to understand. A lot of people, I think we live in the age of the pretty picture with Instagram and with Lightroom and all of the photo editing you can do. You can make something, in the 50 megapixel resolution cameras, and it's like projects like this, to me, like this picture on the screen right now, actually, James talked about,
this is my
he
favorite
really
shot.
Connected with it. Like, he had this good anecdote. So why don't you touch on that for a minute?
I'll
James?
touch it.
I'll touch
it gently and rub it.
Yeah,
I love this photo because, first of all, I want to preface this with I grew up in the South, so this kind of landscape and environment is something that, I have I've felt. I know what that grass feels like. I know what it's like to be in that old truck. I know, like just this entire environment and vibe is very core to my being. But I think that I connect so much with the scene. One of the big reasons I love it is because there's so many different little context clues within the scene, and you have the framing is so interesting. This car's kind of going off the side here, and then this truck's cut off on the side here, so it balances it out well. The lighting is so interesting, and you can feel, I was telling him yesterday, you can just feel how cold it probably was that day, just by all of everything, like the lack of leaves on the trees, just everything feels cold. And also this guy feels like he's like, you understand his character of who he is, because you see keys hanging from his belt, and he's obviously this kind of utilitarian kind of guy. There's just so much emotion and so much character behind it. You can feel this guy's personality through this photo.
Like an authenticity, I think, is a nice word for his work too, because he's really taking people that you just don't see photographs of much.
Right.
And
it's
shooting
hard
them,
to shoot stuff like this.
And then also shooting them in a way that's not stylized to try to kind of transform the person.
Yeah.
But just shooting them as they are in their environment, and relying on that environment to be a storytelling element.
This is like F5?
Yeah, I mean,
it's just so interesting. It's such an interesting, look, dynamic. Like, look at this. I mean, I don't know. It's really incredible. If you're, like I said, it's polarizing, right? Like, some people are like, okay, that's cool, whatever.
I think his consistency really helps. Like, maybe if you're just approached by one or two of his images, I think maybe, you're not as wowed. You might find a little something in them, but when you see the consistency, he can create this feeling like these ladies at this table. That is just a boring picture. You take a lot of people to take that picture, and it is just going to be a terrible, boring picture. It is just not interesting.
But he's inserted so much character.
Right. It's just amazing what he can do with a lot of his imagery.
Starts playing with some textures. That's leather. You can feel the hot butt that was sitting on that chair.
Yeah, I mean, I think feeling, that was my big number one thing, is like when I look at his work, I have, that feeling. And, I think a lot of truth about photography, right, is like there's a feeling in that photo.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us get so caught up, I know I do, especially with some of my other projects, about like a very clean, minimal, sharp, lots of, bokeh, lots of soft, out of focus areas, really focused on the subject, contrasty, strong, all that. But then, like, there's only, I think, so much emotion you generate just out of a perfectly beautiful photo. Whereas I think images like this have a lot more rawness.
Yeah,
there is that element of, like, you dig it out of your, your old family drawer photos. And I have photos that I really like that my parents took of these things, and it's like, there might be like 100 pictures that are terrible in there, right? And they have the one that kind of accidentally composed, right? It just happened to work out.
Yeah.
It's like all of his pictures are like that one photo you find in your family photo album that turned out just to have that magic.
Right.
You know, and I think that really is really interesting. I think it's really interesting in his work commercially. People are interested commercially in using his work because it's such a hard sell in today's age.
It's a weird,
I mean, because I do a lot of commercial photo, I do a lot of photojournalism and I do a lot of commercial work, and it's just, this look is really hard to sell.
Yeah.
But,
So I want to stop on this photo really quick, and then we can go into look at some of his more polished stuff. I just think it's so interesting because this is like, everything about this is like almost wrong. Like you have this ridiculous flash going off. You have you have, it feels just weird and different, but at the same time it has a really, like, it just draws you in with the framing and the way that it's shot. It's so different, so interesting. But overall, I think what I want to say about his work is that everything you see, at first it's like, wow, there's this shock factor of how different it kind of is, but you realize what you love so much about it is it's free. Like, all of his photos are emotional. They're so emotional.
Yes.
There's so much emotion going on.
There's so much feeling and emotion. I mean, even go back to that brick. Go back to the bricks there.
Right here?
Right. And it's like,
I think that's like a door.
Okay, whatever
like
it is.
Chain door things.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, I mean, even just that little imperfection in it, right? Like, even something that's just a photo like that, like, it fits so well in with the consistency of his work.
Right.
There's just such an unbelievable consistency. And it's hard when, like, your type of look, he probably takes a lot of photographs, I'm just assuming, that just don't work.
Yeah.
With this kind of look.
I'm curious how many he takes.
Or maybe he's just a master and he just is like,
yeah.
And he just, he just took that one photo, but it's like this framing here. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, this, yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
just so well composed.
Totally just, absolutely excellent environmental portraiture.
I think he really is a great reference for people that might say, I live somewhere that's not New York City, because a lot of these projects are out the South. I think he does one on Memphis, a few other ones, but this is like what a lot of us see day to day.
Right, right.
This is like this company. I mean, I do street fashion, so like I shoot like the people that are obviously standing out. But it's like, it's amazing to me the work he produces of literally almost everyone else we see on the street every day,
right,
that we just kind of pass by, and the environments we pass by.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, absolutely. It's like, look at these, like, these look like they could be in Vogue. I mean, literally, like, I just love, like, this, like, it's finding that, like, everyday extraordinary.
Yeah.
But, like, not in the sense like, okay, there's a clown walking, like, something extraordinary happening in an ordinary environment, but just finding something very romantic and beautiful in such an everyday environment. Yeah,
and okay, so with this one, for example, I think it leads off of what you're saying. Like, this to me is so intentional. Like, you can tell there was intentionality behind this photo. He didn't just, you and I both know that this photo doesn't always happen. Like, you walk up to somebody like this and you're like, can I take a photo? He starts smiling, he does something weird, he stands up, there's not that natural.
Well,
but
also that setting, because he has it in several photos. It's just like, it's just perfect.
Right. And so,
the guy's clothes, everything, the colors, the saturation, those reds.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is it's intentional, but it's very natural at the same time. A lot of people will take intentionality and it ends up looking very posed and weird. You know what I mean?
I completely agree, especially with street portraiture, when you're actually interacting. It's like this photo, right? Like, we all walk by that.
Right.
But it's understanding your look you're creating. It's understanding that your colors, that the building behind the car, and the greens, he has this very desaturated greens.
Right.
And these beautiful tones. It's understanding the look you're going for, and if you're doing a specific photo project or something, it's so important to understand what kind of photo's going to work with how the look you want to create.
Yeah.
This
is like this is a fence on the side of the interstate.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's the most inspiring reference in terms of, wow, I'm just not tapping into all of the unbelievable availability out there. You know, I mean...
And so, and his photos are so emotional. But another thing also is I think he seems to really start with, like I said, okay, so all, you know, a lot of this stuff looks a lot more polished than what's on his Tumblr page. But all of this, he starts with why, with how he creates these photos. You can tell that he was intentional about finding these people, interacting with these people, creating a continual narrative of you know, the type of people he was shooting and the type of settings. Like, he put time into this, and he put serious intentionality into making these very emotional photos that have people, you know, right in the middle of their environment, and you can feel their personalities. So he starts with why, and what comes out of that is actually a really emotional, very raw, kind of rugged feeling photo that makes you think.
The portrait right there.
This one?
It's just, and a little bit of yellow,
yeah,
tying in with the door, and then putting the guy inside the window frame, but he didn't put him just right in the center, and the greens, and that block. I mean, it's just,
yeah,
it's just so good. I just wish you'd see more work like this, absolutely. Of course.
So anyway, that is Whitten Sabbatini, and totally, you know, check him out and look through his stuff and just kind of sit and meditate on it and just take it in and understand what makes a picture like this happen. Gosh.
I mean, maybe look into a photo project. I mean, I'll tell you, if you do a photo project where you're like, I'm only going to shoot at f5.6 with a 35 or a 50, you know, and I'm not going to just let Photoshop be this magical tool that transforms all these colors into super vibrant, amazing, you know, images, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to challenge you to become a much better street photographer. You know, it's easy to take pictures of young hipsters. It's hard to go up to people like this. And maybe once you start doing it, maybe you learn it really isn't that bad.
Yeah.
And most of these people are cool with you taking their picture. You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, because a lot of that, you know, I think we just kind of assume that certain types of people won't let you take their photo. And I just think that's really wrong.
Yeah. So good. Best car photographer in the world.
Look at
That's
that.
what I'm talking
Look
about.
at that. With like a bare flash too.
Yep.
Straight out.
I know. I love his weird start flash stuff. That's incredible. Harmonica.
Even like his street musician, right? It's like his street musicians.
That's so different.
It's so different. It's like no other street musician, you know. And if he did that if you take any of his photos and you post process them, I don't know if he shoots film or not.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like he does, but
we got to end on this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's James' new sweater. So
that's what I'm talking about. I'm ordering that now.
That's what James wants. She's just going to ignore that because she doesn't want James to look like one of those firework popsicles. But I think James would look great in it.
I'm a fuzzy popsicle.
I think you need a beard like that too, and to be complete. You know, I'm gonna just take your photo just like that, and we can send it to Whitten Sabbatini and tell him how inspired we were by it.
Right, of course. Okay, I think we've shown off his work enough. Hopefully this inspired you guys. Hopefully this, you know, made you want to go out and shoot and create your own narratives and create emotional images like this one right here. You know, clearly this guy has some serious, has been through a lot, you know, wearing a sweater like that.
I mean, the stories.
Fuzzy popsicle sweaters.
The stories.
Yeah, the stories. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you liked it. Let us know you liked it. Comment, let us know if we can elaborate in any special way on this or any other topic, any, you know, throw questions at us.
Throw photographers
we
at
will,
us too.
Well, yeah, throw them.
We'd love to see new photographers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like physically throw them.
I mean, that'd be cool too.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah. So yeah, throw all of that our way, and we will be happy to make a video out of those things. If they're interesting. So we love you guys. Have a lovely day. Go take amazing photos. Change the world. Goodbye.